The chandeliers dripped light like liquid gold across the ballroom floor. Crystal prisms scattered rainbow fractals over masked faces, turning London's elite into beautiful ghosts. The orchestra's waltz floated through champagne-scented air, wrapping around laughter and whispered secrets. Nathan Caldwell stood at the window, his silver mask catching the glow from outside street lamps. The champagne in his hand had gone flat. He'd built empires with these hands, crushed competitors, signed billion-dollar deals. Oh, but tonight he felt hollow. The invitation had arrived 2 days ago on gilded paper. One night to change everything. Come and find the answer. No signature, no explanation. He'd almost thrown it away. But something stopped him. Maybe the emptiness that followed him home each night. Maybe the echo of his penthouse where he slept alone. While his wife existed in another wing like a beautiful stranger, across the room, a woman in red stood near the bar. Her golden mask glittered with feathers. She held a glass of water like it might shatter. Emily Caldwell felt the weight of every eye that didn't see her. The red dress hugged her body, but inside she was disappearing. She'd received the same invitation at her design studio. Tonight, you will find what was lost. She'd laughed bitterly. What was lost? Her marriage? Her husband? Herself? Nathan was probably in his office right now, buried in spreadsheets, forgetting it was Valentine's Day, forgetting she existed. So she came here to disappear among strangers. This party is more crowded than I expected. The voice came from behind her, low and careful. Emily turned. A man in a silver mask stood close enough for her to smell his cologne, sandalwood, and something darker. Yes, but sometimes being surrounded by people makes you feel even lonelier. Don't you think? His gray eyes studied her through the mask. You sound like you've been through that. Hasn't everyone? Her voice cracked slightly, especially on a night like tonight when everyone around you seems happy and you're not. The orchestra shifted to a slower waltz. He extended his hand. Dance. She hesitated, and placed her hand in his. The moment he touched her waist, warmth flooded through her. They moved together with impossible ease, like bodies remembering something minds had forgotten. Have you ever felt like you've lost something important? She whispered. His grip tightened. Yes, I've succeeded in my career, but I wonder what I gave up to get it. I have a wife, but I'm not sure she still wants to be with me. I think I've let her down too many times. Emily's heart stopped. And why don't you try to hold on to her? I don't know where to start. I'm used to controlling everything. Work, money, time. But with her, I'm clumsy. Like a fool. I'm afraid it's too late. Tears burned behind her mask. I have a husband, too. He used to be everything to me. We had days so happy I thought they'd last forever. But now I feel like I'm just a shadow in his life. I don't know if he even remembers who I am anymore. They danced closer. The chandeliers blurred. Time became elastic. At 11:55, the host's voice boomed. 5 minutes until we remove our masks. Prepare to reveal yourselves. Nathan and Emily stood face to face, breathless. I don't know who you are, Nathan said, his voice raw. But tonight, you've made me remember what it feels like to truly live, not as a CEO, as myself. Emily smiled through tears. And you've made me feel like I still have worth, even if just for a moment. Thank you. The clock struck midnight. Chimes rang through the ballroom. Everyone removed their masks in unison. Applause erupted. Nathan pulled off his silver mask. Emily removed her. Golden feathers. They stared at each other. The world stopped. Emily. Nathan's voice broke. You're my wife. Her tears fell freely now. She nodded, unable to speak. He pulled her into his arms, crushing her against his chest. Emily, he whispered into her hair. Oh God, Emily. Around them, the crowd cheered, but neither heard anything except their own racing hearts. Nathan, she sobbed against his jacket. It was you. All along, it was you. He pulled back, cupping her face with shaking hands. His gray eyes were wet. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. I am too. She gripped his wrists. I thought I'd lost you forever. Never. His forehead pressed against hers. I'll never let you go again, I promise. Behind them, someone clinked a glass. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Nathan leaned down, his lips inches from Emily's. Then a woman's voice cut through the moment like shattered glass. Nathan Caldwell. What a touching scene. They turned. A woman in a black dress stood at the edge of the dance floor, her red lips curved in a knife-sharp smile. Her mask dangled from her fingers. Nathan's face went white. "Vivian," he breathed. Emily felt ice flood her veins. "Who is she?" Vivian's smile widened. "Oh, sweetheart, you don't know?" She tilted her head. "I'm his business partner, and so much more." The ballroom seemed to tilt. "That's not true," Nathan said quickly, his hand still on Emily's shoulders. "Emily, she's lying." "Am I?" Vivian pulled out her phone, holding it up. On the screen was a photo, Nathan and Vivian at a restaurant, his hand on hers across the table. The date stamp read 3 weeks ago. Emily stepped back. "Nathan, that was a business dinner." His voice rose with desperation. "Emily, please, you have to believe me." But Emily's eyes were already distant, already closing off. "I should have known," she whispered. "I should have known this was too perfect." She turned and ran toward the exit. "Emily, wait." Nathan lunged after her, but Vivian caught his arm. "Let her go," Vivian purred. "We have business to discuss." "Or did you forget about our deal?" Nathan ripped his arm away. "There is no deal. There never was." He ran after Emily, but when he burst into the cold London night, she was already gone. Only her golden mask remained on the pavement. Glittering under the streetlights like abandoned hope, Emily's heels clicked. Against wet pavement as she ran, her red dress clinging to her legs. Rain had started, cold and bitter, washing away the fairy tale. Her lungs burned, her vision blurred with tears and smeared makeup. She'd been so stupid, so desperate for connection that she'd fallen for a stranger who turned out to be her own husband, only to discover he'd been lying all along. The photo burned in her mind. His hand on Vivian's, that intimate lean across the table. She flagged down a taxi. Gasping her address to the driver at home, their penthouse felt like a mausoleum. Emily peeled off her dress and stood under scalding water, trying to wash away the night. But the warmth of Nathan's hands on her waist lingered like a ghost. She'd felt alive for the first time in months. And it had been a lie. Wrapped in a robe, she poured wine and stood at the window overlooking London's glittering skyline. Her phone buzzed constantly, Nathan's name flashing. She ignored every call. Then came a knock at the door. "Emily, please." Nathan's voice carried through the wood, raw and desperate. "Please let me in. Let me explain." She pressed her back against the wall, eyes closed. "I know you're there. I know you're listening." His voice cracked. "That photo, it wasn't what it looked like. Vivian has been trying to sabotage me for months. She wants Caldwell Enterprises. She's been manipulating situations, twisting things to look like we're involved. But I swear on everything I have, there is nothing between us." Emily's hands trembled around her wine glass. "Tonight," Nathan continued, his voice softer now, breaking. "Tonight, when I held you on that dance floor, I felt something I haven't felt in years. I felt whole. And when I realized it was you, that the woman who made me feel alive again was my own wife, I knew how badly I'd failed you. How much I'd lost while chasing things that don't matter." Silence stretched between the door. "I love you, Emily. I never stopped. I just forgot how to show it. And now I'm terrified I've lost you forever." Emily wiped her eyes. Her heart warred with her mind. She opened the door. Nathan stood there, hair soaked from rain, his tuxedo jacket gone, shirt rumpled. He looked destroyed. "Come in," she whispered. Relief flooded his face. He stepped inside, maintaining distance like she might bolt. "Me. Show me your phone," Emily said. Nathan handed it over without hesitation. She scrolled through messages, call logs, emails. Business discussions with Vivian. Yes, but nothing romantic, nothing inappropriate. In fact, several messages from Nathan, explicitly establishing professional boundaries. "She's been pursuing you," Emily said slowly, "for months. I kept refusing. She got more aggressive. Tonight was her final play, I think. She knew we'd both be there. How did she know?" Nathan's jaw tightened. "She sent the invitations. I found the proof in her emails after you ran. She orchestrated everything." Emily sank onto the couch. "But why?" If she can destroy my marriage, she thinks I'll be vulnerable. Easier to manipulate. She's been trying to force me into selling my shares. He knelt in front of her. Emily, I need you to know something. After you left tonight, I made a decision. She looked at him, waiting. I'm stepping down as CEO. Emily's eyes widened. What? Caldwell Enterprises was supposed to be something I built for us. For our future. But it became a prison. It stole my time, my focus, my marriage. His hands found hers. You're more important than any company. If I have to choose between my empire and my wife, I choose you. Every time, Nathan, you can't just walk away from everything you've built. Watch me. His gray eyes burned with intensity. I already drafted my resignation. It goes public tomorrow. But Vivian will get nothing. I'm selling my shares to Marcus Chen, my old mentor. He'll keep the company ethical. Vivian will be forced out within a month. Nathan's voice hardened. She tried to destroy my marriage. That was her mistake. Emily's throat tightened. You'd really give it all up? I'd give up everything to have you look at me the way you did tonight. Before the masks came off, he lifted her hand to his lips. You're my life, Emily. Not the money. Not the power. You. She touched his face, feeling the stubble on his jaw, the warmth of his skin. I thought I'd lost you years ago. I thought the man I married was gone. He was lost. You found him tonight? Nathan leaned his forehead against hers. Let me prove it to you. Give me a chance to be the husband you deserve. Emily closed her eyes. I'm scared. So am I. They sat in silence, the rain pattering against windows. Then Emily's phone rang. Unknown number, she answered. Hello. Emily Caldwell. A woman's voice, professional. This is Detective Sarah Walsh with the Metropolitan Police. We need you to come to the station. It's about your husband. Ice flooded Emily's veins. She looked at Nathan, whose confusion mirrored hers. What's this about? I can't discuss details over the phone, but you need to come now. Both of you. The line went dead. Nathan stood slowly. What did they say? They want us at the police station. Something about you. His face paled. Vivian, what? She threatened me once. Said if I didn't cooperate, she'd make me regret it. Nathan grabbed his jacket. We need to go now. They drove through rain-slicked streets in tense silence. At the station, Detective Walsh led them to an interview room. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting everything in sickly yellow. Mr. Caldwell, Detective Walsh began, sliding a folder across the table. Can you explain these transactions? Nathan opened the folder. His face went white. Emily leaned over. Inside were bank statements showing massive wire transfers from Caldwell Enterprises accounts to offshore holdings. Dates spanning the last 6 months. Amounts totaling £30 million. This is fraud, Nathan breathed. I never authorized these. These transactions all have your digital signature. Then someone forged it. Nathan's voice rose. I didn't do this. Detective Walsh's expression remained neutral. We have evidence suggesting otherwise, including testimony from a business associate who claims you confided in her about moving assets. Vivian, Emily whispered. The detective nodded. Ms. Vivian Hartwell has provided extensive documentation and testimony. Nathan slammed his hand on the table. She's framing me. She had access to my accounts as coup. She could have created these transactions, forged my signatures. That's a serious accusation. She's the one who should be under investigation. Detective Walsh stood. We'll be looking into all parties involved. But as of now, Mr. Caldwell, you're our primary suspect. Don't leave London. We'll be in touch. Outside, rain fell harder. Emily and Nathan sat in the car, shell-shocked. She's destroying everything, Nathan said, staring at his hands. My company, my reputation. She knew exactly how to tear it all down. Emily's mind raced. We need proof. Evidence that she did this. How? She's covered her tracks perfectly. There has to be something. Someone who knows the truth. Nathan turned to her, hope flickering in his exhausted eyes. Marcus, my old mentor. He knows Vivian tried to manipulate the board before. If anyone can help us, it's him. Then we go to him. But as they drove away from the station, neither noticed the black car following at a distance. Inside, Vivian watched them through the rain-streaked window. Her smile sharp as broken glass. Everything was going exactly as planned. Marcus. Chen's estate sat on the outskirts of London, surrounded by ancient oak trees that bent under the weight of rain. Nathan and Emily stood at his door at 3 in the morning, soaked and desperate. Marcus opened the door in a silk robe, his weathered face creasing with concern. "Nathan, what's happened?" "I need your help." Nathan's voice was hoarse. "Vivian is framing me for embezzlement. She's trying to destroy everything." Marcus ushered them inside, pouring hot tea in his study while a fire crackled in the hearth. Emily wrapped her hands around the warm cup, feeling sensation return to her frozen fingers. "Tell me everything," Marcus said. Nathan laid out the timeline. The mysterious invitations. The gala. The photo. The police investigation. As he spoke, Marcus's expression darkened. "Vivian came to me 3 months ago," Marcus said finally. "She wanted me to convince you to sell Caldwell Enterprises to her investment group. Offered me a significant finder's fee." "What did you say?" "I told her no, that you'd never sell, and I wouldn't betray you, even if you would." Marcus steepled his fingers. "She got angry. Said I'd regret choosing loyalty over profit." Emily leaned forward. "Did she threaten you?" "Not directly, but there was something in her eyes. Cold calculation." Marcus stood, moving to a filing cabinet. "After that meeting, I started keeping records. Every interaction I had with Vivian, every board meeting where she pushed questionable decisions." He pulled out a thick folder and set it on the desk. Nathan opened it. Inside were printed emails, recorded phone conversations, documented instances of Vivian attempting to manipulate board votes and forge documents. "This is it," Nathan breathed. "This proves she's been planning this for months." "There's more." Marcus pulled out a USB drive. "Security footage from Caldwell Enterprises. 3 weeks ago, Vivian accessed your office after hours. She was in there for 90 minutes. I had my contact in building security save the footage before it could be erased." Emily grabbed Nathan's hand. "This could clear you. It could do more than that," Marcus said gravely. "It could destroy her. But Nathan, you need to understand something. Vivian isn't working alone." Nathan's stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "There's someone else. Someone on the board feeding her information, helping her access systems." Marcus's expression turned pained. "I haven't been able to identify them yet. But there's a mole in your company. Who would betray me like that? Someone with a lot to gain from your downfall." Rain lashed against the windows. The fire popped and hissed. Emily's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Stop digging, or your husband goes to prison. This is your only warning," she showed Nathan and Marcus. "She knows you're here," Marcus said quietly. "How?" Nathan stood, pacing. "Unless she has someone watching us." Marcus moved to the window, peering through curtains. "There's a car across the street. Black sedan. Wasn't there when you arrived?" Nathan's jaw tightened. "We need to take this to the police now. Before she can do anything else." "No." Emily stood. "If we go to the police, she'll just deny everything. We need to make her confess. Get her on record admitting what she's done." "How?" Emily's mind raced, pieces clicking together. "She wants Caldwell Enterprises. She's gone to extreme lengths to get it. What if we give her what she wants?" Nathan stared at her. "You want me to sell to her? I want you to make her think you're going to." Emily's voice grew stronger. "Set up a meeting. Tell her you're ready to negotiate. She'll be so confident she's won, she might slip up. We record everything. It's too dangerous," Nathan said. "If she suspects, she won't, because you'll be broken. It's desperate. Exactly what she wants to see." Molly gripped his shoulders. "Nathan, it's the only way." Marcus nodded slowly. "The girl's right. Vivian's arrogant. That's her weakness." Nathan looked between them, then pulled Emily close. "I don't want you anywhere near this. If something goes wrong, Then we go down together. Emily's blue eyes blazed. I'm not losing you again. Not to her. Not to anyone. He kissed her forehead. All right. We do this together. They spent the next hour planning. Marcus would contact Vivian, say Nathan was ready to meet. The meeting would happen at Caldwell Enterprises, Nathan's office where Marcus could set up hidden cameras and microphones. Emily would be there, hidden, as backup. At dawn, Marcus made the call. Vivian answered on the first ring. Marcus, how unexpected. Nathan wants to meet. He's ready to discuss terms. A pause. Then her voice, smooth as poison. I knew he'd see reason eventually. Tonight, his office. 8 o'clock. Tell him to come alone. He will. The line went dead. She took the bait, Marcus said. Nathan and Emily returned home to prepare. In the penthouse, exhaustion crashed over them. They collapsed on the couch, Emily curled against Nathan's chest, listening to his heartbeat. Are you scared? She whispered, terrified. His hand stroked her hair. Not of Vivian, of losing you again. You won't. She lifted her head, meeting his eyes. Whatever happens tonight, we face it together. He kissed her then, slow and deep, tasting like second chances in desperation. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. I love you, Nathan said. I should have said it every day. Should have shown you. You're showing me now. Okay. Emily's fingers traced his jaw. That's what matters. They spent the day locked away. From the world, reconnecting in ways words couldn't capture. Every touch was an apology. Every kiss a promise. By the time evening fell, they were ready. At 7:30, they arrived at Caldwell Enterprises. The building stood dark and empty, everyone gone home. Marcus met them in the lobby with equipment. Everything's set up, he said. Cameras in the office, microphones hidden in the desk and bookshelves. I'll be in the security room monitoring, said Emily. You'll be in the adjoining conference room with a direct view through the one-way glass. Emily nodded, adrenaline sharpening her senses. Nathan took her hand. If anything feels wrong, you run. Promise me. I promise. They took positions. At exactly 8 o'clock, the elevator chimed. Vivian stepped out in a black suit, red heels clicking against marble. She looked like she'd already won. Nathan stood behind his desk as she entered his office. Nathan, she smiled. I'm glad you finally came to your senses. Let's not pretend this is anything other than what it is, Nathan said coldly. You want my company? I'm willing to discuss terms. Good. Vivian circled the desk like a predator. I want 60% controlling interest. Keep 40% and a seat on the board. But I make all major decisions. That's not a negotiation. That's a takeover. That's reality. She leaned against his desk. Face it, Nathan. The police have you for embezzlement. Your reputation is destroyed. You have no leverage. What if I told you I have evidence proving you forged those transactions? Vivian's smile didn't waver. What evidence? There is none, because I was very careful. Oh, you admit it? Admit what? That I'm a brilliant strategist? She laughed. This is business, Nathan. Nothing personal. You tried to destroy my marriage. Your marriage was already dead. I just exposed the corpse. Vivian's eyes glittered. That night at the gala was beautiful, wasn't it? It's watching you fall in love with your own wife while I held all the cards. The invitations, the timing, even the photographer I hired to snap that dinner photo. All of it orchestrated perfectly. Nathan's hands clenched into fists. You're insane. I'm successful. Vivian moved closer. And soon I'll own everything you built, unless you sign. She pulled out a contract, sliding it across the desk. Sign it, Nathan. Or I make one phone call and the police arrest you tonight. In the conference room, Emily watched through the glass, her heart pounding. Vivian had confessed. They had it on tape, but then Vivian's phone rang. She answered, her expression changing. What? When? A pause. You're sure? She hung up slowly, her eyes turning to the walls, the ceiling. Her smile faded. Marcus Chen just transferred £50 million from his personal account to yours, Nathan. Minutes ago. Her voice went flat. You're setting me up. Nathan's blood went cold. There are cameras in here, aren't there? Vivian's hand slipped into her purse, and your little wife is probably watching from next door. She pulled out a gun. Emily screamed, bursting from the conference room. Vivian spun, aiming the weapon. How sweet. The hero wife. Vivian, don't, Nathan said, stepping forward. It's over. We have your confession on tape. Then I have nothing left to lose, do I? Her finger moved to the trigger. I can't have the company, no one can. Starting with you. Time slowed. The gun aimed at Nathan's chest. Emily moved without thinking, throwing herself between them. The shot rang out, deafening in the enclosed space. Pain exploded through Emily's shoulder as she crumpled to the floor. No. Nathan's scream tore through the office. Everything dissolved into chaos. Blood bloomed across Emily's red blouse, spreading like spilled wine. She collapsed and Nathan caught her before she hit the floor. Emily. Ah! His hands pressed against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. Her face had gone white, eyes fluttering. Vivian stood frozen, the gun trembling in her grip. For a moment, shock replaced calculation in her expression. I didn't mean to. Marcus burst through the door. Security guards behind him dropped the weapon. Vivian's hand opened. The gun clattered to the floor. Call an ambulance. Nathan's voice broke as he cradled Emily. Her blood soaked through his shirt, warm and terrifying. Stay with me. Please, Emily, stay with me. Her lips moved, barely a whisper. Nathan, don't talk. Save your strength. Tears streamed down his face. You're going to be fine. You have to be fine. Security surrounded Vivian, restraining her. Marcus kicked the gun away and knelt beside Nathan. Ambulance is 2 minutes out, Marcus said, his steady voice anchoring the chaos. Keep pressure on the wound. Emily's hand found Nathan's, her grip weak. I'm sorry. Sorry. Nathan's laugh was broken, desperate. You took a bullet for me. I have nothing to be sorry for. I wasted so much time. Being angry. Being distant. Her eyes locked on his, blue and fading. I should have fought for us sooner. You're going to have all the time in the world. You're going to be okay. Promise me something. Her breath came in shallow gasps. Don't let this destroy you. Don't let her win. Emily, don't promise me, Nathan. I promise. He pressed his forehead to hers. But you're going to be here to make sure I keep it. Sirens wailed outside. Paramedics rushed in with a stretcher and emergency equipment. They worked with efficient urgency, stabilizing Emily, loading her onto the gurney. Are you family? One paramedic asked Nathan. I'm her husband. Come with us. The ride to the hospital was a blur of fluorescent lights and medical jargon. Nathan held Emily's hand the entire time, watching monitors beep and spike, watching her chest rise and fall too shallowly. At the hospital, they wheeled her into surgery. A doctor in scrubs stopped Nathan at the door. The bullet hit her shoulder, but there's significant tissue damage. She's lost a lot of blood. We're doing everything we can. She has to make it, Nathan said, his voice raw. She has to. We'll do our best. The surgery doors swung closed, leaving Nathan in a sterile waiting room that smelled of antiseptic and fear. Marcus arrived an hour later with coffee. Nathan couldn't drink in updates he could barely process. Vivian is in custody, Marcus said. The police have the recordings. Her confession, the gun, everything. She'll be charged with attempted murder, fraud, and embezzlement. Nathan stared at the surgery doors. I don't care about any of that. I know. Marcus gripped his shoulder. Emily's strong. She'll pull through. Hours crawled past. 3, 4, 5. Finally, the surgery doors opened. The doctor emerged, exhausted but not grim. The surgery went well. We removed the bullet and repaired the damage. She's stable. Nathan's knees nearly buckled with relief. Can I see her? She's in recovery. Still sedated, but yes. They led him to a private room where Emily lay in a hospital bed, pale against white sheets. Tubes and monitors surrounded her, tracking her vital signs with steady beeps. Nathan pulled a chair close and took her hand, careful of the IV line. I'm not leaving you alone. Not after I'll have security posted outside my room. Marcus needs you. She gripped his hand. Go stop him before he destroys everything. Nathan kissed her hard. I'll come, B. I'm here, he whispered. I'm not going anywhere. He stayed through the night, watching her breathe, memorizing the slope of her cheek, the curve of her lips. As dawn light filtered through the window, her eyes fluttered open. Nathan. Her voice was hoarse. I'm here. He stood, leaning over her. How do you feel? Like I got shot. A weak smile crossed her face. Worth it, though. Don't ever do that again. His voice cracked. You could have died. So could you. Her fingers squeezed his. I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't lose you when I'd just gotten you back. He kissed her hand, her forehead, her lips. Gentle, reverent kisses that tasted like salt and second chances. The doctors say you'll make a full recovery, Nathan said. But you'll need physical therapy. Time to heal? I have time. Gosh. She touched his face. We have time. A knock at the door. Detective Walsh entered, notepad in hand. Mrs. Caldwell, I'm glad to see you're awake. The detective's expression was apologetic. I need to ask you a few questions about what happened. Emily recounted the night, her voice growing stronger as she spoke. Nathan filled in details she missed. By the end, Detective Walsh nodded. We have more than enough to prosecute Miss Hartwell. She's being charged with attempted murder, corporate fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. With your testimony and the recorded confession, she'll be facing significant prison time. Good, Nathan said coldly. After the detective left, Marcus arrived with flowers and news. The board held an emergency meeting, Marcus said. With Vivian's arrest and the evidence of her schemes, they've asked you to remain as CEO, Nathan. They want to rebuild under your leadership. Nathan looked at Emily, then back at Marcus. I'm stepping down. Both Emily and Marcus stared. What? Emily said. Nathan, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Nathan's voice was firm. I almost lost everything that matters because I put that company first. I'm not making that mistake again, but what will you do? He smiled, really smiled, for the first time in days. Whatever I want. Maybe I'll travel with my wife. Maybe I'll start something smaller, something I actually care about. Maybe I'll just take time to remember who I am when I'm not a CEO. Marcus nodded slowly. I understand. The board will need a replacement. They already have one. Take care of it, Marcus. Make it something worth believing in. Marcus shook his hand. Will. I promise. After Marcus left, Nathan climbed into the hospital bed beside Emily, careful of her injuries. She rested her head on his shoulder. You're really giving it all up? She asked. I'm not giving up anything. I'm choosing what matters. Kissed her hair. You were right all along. The company was destroying us. I just couldn't see it until I almost lost you. What do we do now? We heal. We rebuild. We remember how to be us again. His arms tightened around her. And I spend every day proving to you that I'm the man you fell in love with. You already have. Emily closed her eyes, safe in his embrace. Tonight, when you held me in your office, even knowing Vivian had a gun, you didn't hesitate. You chose me, I'll always choose you. They lay together as monitors beeped softly. As dawn turned to morning, as the world continued outside their small, sacred space, but peace was temporary that afternoon. A nurse brought Emily's belongings from the office. In her purse was her phone, powered back on. 17 missed calls, all from the same unknown number, and one voicemail. Emily played it on speaker. Nathan beside her. A voice filled the room. Not Vivian's, male, smooth and calculated. Mrs. Caldwell, you don't know me yet, but you will. Vivian was just the opening move. I'm the one who's been planning this from the beginning. The embezzlement, the frame job, everything. And now that she's failed, it's my turn. Tell your husband to watch his back. Because I'm just getting started? The message ended. Emily and Nathan stared at each other in horror. The mole, Nathan breathed. Vivian's partner, who is he? Before Nathan could answer, his phone rang. Marcus's name flashed on screen. He answered, "Marcus." "Nathan, we have a problem." Marcus's voice was tight with tension. "Someone just transferred all of Caldwell Enterprises' liquid assets. 50 million pounds? Gone. And they used your access codes to do it." "That's impossible. I haven't touched those accounts." "The board thinks you did. They're calling an emergency meeting tonight. If you don't show up and explain, they'll press charges." Nathan's blood ran cold. "It's him. The man on the voicemail. He's still inside the company." "What man?" "Nathan, what's going on?" "I'll explain when I get there." He hung up. Turning to Emily, her face was pale but determined. "You have to go." She said, I promise." "I know." He left, the weight of everything pressing on his shoulders. But as he drove through London toward Caldwell Enterprises, one thought burned clear. Whoever this man was, whatever game he was playing, Nathan would end it, even if it meant risking everything he just reclaimed. Nathan arrived at Caldwell Enterprises as night swallowed London. The building loomed dark against storm clouds, windows reflecting lightning that hadn't yet struck. Marcus met him in the lobby, tension carved into every line of his face. "The board is in the conference room. They want answers." Marcus lowered his voice. "Nathan, some of them think you've staged everything with Vivian, that you're embezzling money and using her as a scapegoat." "That's insane, is it? From their perspective, you're the only one with access to those accounts. The only one who benefits from her arrest." Nathan's jaw tightened. "Then, we prove them wrong." They rode the elevator in silence. In the conference room, 10 board members sat around a glass table, their faces masks of suspicion and concern. Nathan took his seat at the head. "I know what you're thinking. But I didn't steal that money then. Who did?" Margaret Chen, the CFO, slid a tablet across the table. "These transactions all have your digital signature, your access codes, your approval." Nathan scanned the documents. 50 million transferred to an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. The timestamp, 1 hour ago. "Someone has been impersonating me." "The same person who helped Vivian." "Convenient," said Richard Blake, the oldest board member. Vivian gets arrested, and suddenly there's a mysterious partner no one can identify. "He left a voicemail for my wife." Nathan pulled out his phone. Playing the recording, the voice filled the room, cold and calculated. When it ended, the board members exchanged glances. "Need to trace that number," Marcus said. Margaret was already typing on her laptop. "Running it now through our security system." She paused, frowning. "It's a burner phone. But there's metadata attached. The call was made from inside this building 20 minutes ago." Ice flooded Nathan's veins. "He's here." "That's impossible," Richard said. "Only board members and executive staff have access after hours." "Exactly." Nathan stood slowly, scanning faces around the table. "Which means he's one of us." Silence fell like a hammer. "You think a board member is behind this?" Margaret's voice rose. "That's a serious accusation. It's the only explanation." Nathan's eyes moved from person to person. "Marcus, pull up the security logs. Who accessed the building in the last hour?" Marcus typed rapidly on his phone. 6 people. All board members present in this room. Check their office access. "Who went to my office specifically?" More typing. Then Marcus went very still. Only one person. His voice was barely a whisper. "Richard Blake." Every eye turned to Richard. The old man sat back in his chair, his expression unreadable. Then slowly he smiled. "Clever," Richard said. "I didn't expect you to figure it out so quickly." Nathan's fists clenched. You've been on this board for 20 years. My father trusted you. Your father was a fool." Richard's smile turned cruel. "He built this company from nothing and refused to see its true potential. When he died and left it to you, I thought finally we'd have leadership with vision. But you're just like him. Small-minded. Sentimental.
Oh.
So you decided to destroy me. I decided to take what should have been mine." Richard stood, straightening his suit. "I've spent 2 decades watching lesser men profit from my ideas, my strategies. Vivian was easy to manipulate, greedy, ambitious, arrogant. I fed her just enough information to make her think she was in control. The embezzlement, the frame job, all of it was you. All of it. Richard's eyes glittered. And even now, you're too late. The money's already moved beyond recovery. The board will vote you out. And I'll step in as interim CEO with full control. Marcus shook his head. You're insane if you think we'll let that happen. You have no choice. Richard pulled out his phone. One call to my contact at the serious fraud office and Nathan goes to prison tonight. I have evidence planted across his home, his office, his bank accounts. Evidence that will make him look guilty beyond any doubt. Nathan's mind raced. Richard had planned everything perfectly. Layers of deception, insurance policies, escape routes. But he'd made one mistake. You're wrong about one thing, Nathan said quietly. Oh. What's that? You said I'm like my father. Small-minded, sentimental. Nathan pulled out his own phone. But my father taught me something you never learned. Loyalty. He pressed play. The voice that filled the room was Richard's. Recorded from 30 minutes earlier when he'd made his threatening call to Emily. But there was more. Nathan had called his hospital room before entering the building, leaving the line open. Everything Richard had just confessed had been recorded. Richard's face drained of color. You played me? No. Nathan's voice was ice. I gave you enough rope to hang yourself. Security burst through the doors. Detective Walsh leading them. Richard Blake, the detective said, You're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy, and corporate espionage. Cheered didn't resist as they cuffed him. But as they let him past Nathan, he leaned close. You think you've won? I've destroyed men better than you. Even from prison, I'll make sure you suffer. No, you won't. Nathan's voice was calm, final. Because I don't care anymore. The company, the money, the power, none of it matters. You can't touch what's actually important to me. Understanding flickered in Richard's eyes, then rage. They dragged him away. The conference room emptied slowly, board members shaken and apologetic. Margaret approached Nathan last. I'm sorry we doubted you, she said. The board wants you to stay on as CEO. We need your leadership now more than ever. Nathan shook his head. I meant what I said. I'm stepping down. But after everything you've been through to clear your name, I didn't do it for the company. I did it to protect my wife. To protect our future, Nathan smiled, genuine warmth breaking through exhaustion. Marcus will make a better CEO than I ever was. Trust him. Margaret nodded slowly. If that's what you want, it is. Nathan left Caldwell Enterprises for the last time. As he drove away, he watched the building shrink in his rearview mirror, taking with it years of stress, ambition, and sacrifice. At the hospital, he found Emily awake, sitting up in bed. Her color had returned, strength flowing back into her eyes. Is it over? She asked. It's over. He sat beside her, taking her hand. Richard was the mole. He's been arrested. The money will be recovered. Vivian will testify against him to reduce her sentence. The company? Marcus is taking over. The board approved it. Nathan kissed her knuckles. I'm done with all of it, Emily. Really done. She studied his face, searching for regret. Found only peace. What will you do now? I thought we could travel. See the places we always talked about but never had time for. Paris, Tokyo, New Zealand. He smiled. Or we could stay in London, and I'll learn to cook. Badly, you'll have to suffer through my attempts at pasta. Emily laughed, the sound like music. I'd like that. The traveling and the terrible pasta. There's one more thing. Nathan reached into his pocket, pulling out a small velvet box. Inside were 2 rings. Simple gold bands. We got married in a courthouse 10 years ago, he said. Quick ceremony between business meetings. I always meant to do it properly. To make vows that mattered and keep them. Tears filled Emily's eyes. Emily Caldwell, I know I've already married you once. But that man didn't deserve you. He was chasing dreams that didn't matter and ignoring the one that did. Nathan took her hand. Let me marry you again. Right here, right now. Not as a CEO and his wife, just as Nathan and Emily. Two people who found each other twice. Nathan, I promise to see you. Really see you? Every day. His voice cracked. I promise to hold your hand in crowded rooms and dance with you at galas. I promise to tell you I love you so often, it becomes annoying. And I promise that when life gets hard, when I'm scared or lost or broken, I'll turn to you instead of running away.
Right.
Emily was crying freely now. Yes, God, yes. He slipped the ring on her finger. She took the other ring, hand shaking, and placed it on his. I promise to fight for us, Emily said through tears. I promise to tell you when I'm hurting instead of hiding behind silence. I promise to dance with you even when I'm angry, especially when I'm angry. She laughed wetly, and I promise that no matter what masks the world asks us to wear, I'll always know you. The real you. They kissed, soft and deep, tasting like forgiveness and forever. Outside the hospital window, London glittered with a million lights. The storm had passed, leaving the city washed clean under a clear sky. 3 months later, Nathan and Emily stood on a beach in New Zealand, watching the sunset paint the ocean in shades of gold and crimson. Emily's shoulder had healed, leaving only a small scar she wore like a badge of honor. Do you ever miss it? She asked, leaning against him. The company. The power. Nathan wrapped his arms around her waist. Not even a little bit, liar. She smiled. I know you better than that, okay? Maybe sometimes. When I see a business deal go wrong or read about corporate drama, he turned her to face him. But then I remember what I have now. Mornings with you, cooking disasters, adventures in places I can't pronounce. And I wouldn't trade any of it for a corner office. Emily touched his face. I love you, Nathan Caldwell. I love you, Emily Caldwell. Kissed her forehead. Thank you for saving my life, in every way that matters. They stood together as the sun dipped below the horizon. To people who'd lost themselves and found each other again, the masks were gone. The pretense stripped away. All that remained was truth, raw and beautiful. Behind them, in the sand, 2 sets of footprints led to where they stood. Tomorrow, they would walk further, leaving new marks that would be washed away by waves and replaced by others. But tonight, in this moment, they were exactly where they needed to be. Together, the end.